Welcome back to Game 3 of SKT versus G2 World Semifinals. If you're watching this on YouTube, you will of course be missing out on the prime time premium experience of being a part of the live Twitch chat. Not only do they ask me thought-provoking questions, but they also lure me into a false sense of security and deceive me like no mastermind has done before. You too could be deceiving me alongside the Twitch chat if you smash that follow button at twitch.tv/Vedius official. Now, let's jump into game 3 where we have the score tied at 1-1. So let's have a look at how things have adapted as we've moved throughout the series. So SKT now back on the blue side. They're sticking with the Syndra ban. They're also sticking with the Kiana ban. This is quite interesting. They banned it on the blue side, suggesting that they really don't want to first pick it. The Yasuo is an interesting adaptation, because what I think happened in Game 2 is G2 Esports forgot about this pick. I do have Mickey in the chat, so maybe he can confirm for me. I'm not sure if they forgot it or not. I'd be surprised if they forgot it, to be honest, but either way, SKT definitely do not want to have to deal with this champion anymore. What they're probably going to do is, obviously, they've left the Gragas up, so you would imagine that G2 is going to lock that Gragas in. And they do not want to allow G2 to be able to run the Yasuo and the Gragas combo. So they take the Yasuo away rather than the Gragas, which is a little weird because I would probably take the Gragas away. I guess they're assuming if G2 leave it open, then we'll take it. In any case, this is very much leading towards a Ryze first pick, in which case G2 can trade it for a Renekton. It very much depends on what do SKT put more priority on. I would imagine it's going to be a Ryze. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't Ryze. Shocker. It's Ryze. So G2 then naturally will go for the Xayah because that makes the safest bet. And then, of course, you go for the Gragas as well. Why would you not? SKT will then likely... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. So they don't go for Gragas because if they lock in Gragas... I know, that says Grag, not Greg. Trust me, it says Grag. It says Gragas. They then go Kai'Sa. And then Nautilus. I think that's what they're... Greg, god damn it. So Greg, right? So Greg isn't picked because SKT would lock in Kai'Sa and Nautilus. They would lock this duo in, which G2 would then be in trouble with because they would have to do like Xayah Leona, which I guess they're not super happy with, or they have to do like Xayah Thresh, which they're also probably not happy with. So they just want to get themselves the Nautilus. Of course, SKT can still do Kai'Sa Leona, but it puts pressure on locking Leona in early outside of just getting Greg for themselves. So I don't mind it. I understand, I think, why they're doing it. But of course, that means that you need to have an answer to Greg yourself. So there's the Kai'Sa that we talked about. And you would imagine that they would follow it up with Greg. Of course, they could just do the Leona now. But do they want to do Greg into... That's interesting. Nope, I got nothing. I got nothing. I don't know. I don't know why they would do Rek'Sai here. Mickey, help me. Why would they do Rek'Sai? Mickey, help. Why would they do Rek'Sai? Would they do Rek'Sai to stop maybe the Gragas? I don't know. Mickey doesn't know either. How? Void buff? Oh, it's for the void buff. Blue side Rek'Sai is OP to camp bot, and they just had to hold me back from 1v9ing. I mean, I guess, because you can do a full bot side clear into then gank bot, sure. But, like, in all seriousness, this pick just doesn't make sense. Because, like, Rek'Sai as a champion is really strong in terms of, like, early game, right? She's a very effective early game champion. She has a lot of damage. She's very strong at skirmishing. Like, the jungle mid 2v2, I guess, is pretty strong. The only reason why I could think they wanted Rek'Sai is so that G2 don't go Gragas. Because they don't want to play against it. But there's no jungle bans, so there's no guarantee that G2 go for it anyway. I mean, I think they still could have gone for Gragas. Let's see what the rest of the draft looks like first. Let's see what it looks like. I'm not a fan of the Rek'Sai. I'm not a fan at all. So wait, thinking about it, G2 probably want to ban... because they get first pick. So they probably want to ban top laners. Because they want to save... they want to know where the Rise is going. So they'll pick a safe top laner. They want Kled, I think. Yeah. So they ban Fiora. And then I think SKT want to ban... the problem is if they ban mids, then they tell you where they're putting it. And they've already banned Syndra. Kayle is a bit of a weird one. But, like, I guess I understand it. And I mean, I think they banned Jax here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else they would want to ban here. Oh, right, they banned the Kled. The Camille blind pick. But Renekton's open. What? Oh, okay. Let's focus. Okay. So, let's see the rest of the draft. No, I mean, there's no reason not to go Renekton. I think it's a really good matchup early into Camille. She definitely outscales later, but it's like a lot later. Oh, and the Leona that we talked about. I mean, I guess Wonder's thinking, these are like the hardest counters. I'll eventually outscale Renekton as long as I don't play poorly. So he's like, I'm fine versus Renee. I'm fine versus Renee. I don't care. Renee can do whatever he wants. He's not a problem. I just gotta play safe. Renee. No. But yeah, it's definitely a dangerous pick, because if you fall behind, you get screwed. And they have Rek'Sai, Renee. So, yeah. Now they need a mid laner. This would have been such a good pick. I'm so sad they didn't lock this in. This would have been so good. How did they play the game against this? How? Oh, you want to dive me? Cage. Oh, you want to dive me? Cage. Oh, you want to dive me? Oh, cage. Oh, you want to tunnel out? You want to out or in? You've been caged. Get in the cage. This comp would have been doomed. This would have been so good. Like, obviously the biggest problem is you have 0 prio mid early. And, like, you're worried about this getting dived. And, like, Rise can sit there and go, whoa, 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 okay. Well, I'm going to go from mid lane into top lane with my Rek'Sai and my Renee. And it's going to be the Rise-Renee duo killing the Camille. Which is the only reason why I can think that they didn't go for this. Because they concede too much early game. Stop drawing, it's going too far. It's to help illustrate my point. Like, I think Orianna is a good matchup into this. But So, obviously, this has push. I think actually Orianna has push against Ryze. Maybe not at level 1, but I think from level 2 onwards, it's Orianna favored. And then I also think this has push as well. So, G2 have 2 lanes they can play around. Jankos probably wants to play through bot rather than actually play through top, because I think it's really difficult to camp the Renekton. So Wonder just has to survive early. I don't think they can dive this, but you can definitely set up ganks for this. So I think in terms of scaling, this comp should outscale. Yeah. Because Renekton becomes useless later. This becomes useless later. This is really short range. I mean, the basic... To put it bluntly, this is damage dealer, damage dealer, damage dealer, damage dealer, damage dealer. So, like, G2 have more damage in the late game. You could also argue Jankos, if he goes full penetration, also has a buttloads of damage. But right now, like, it's 3 damage dealers versus 2 in its simplistic form. But bear in mind, that's very simple. I think this comp does have a lot of dive, but I also think, like, it's hard to dive on top of Xayah. Camille can very easily zone an entire, like you can create a lot of chaos and disruption. I think G2 should outscale. I think they should outscale. Because the thing is, I don't even think that SKT win in a side lane. I think Camille should beat Faker in a side lane. I understand that Ryze is really obnoxious and strong later on into the game, but because you have her ultimate, you can just lock him down, and I think you should win. I think so anyway. That's what I think. That's what I think. Hey Sharks, welcome. See, YouTubers, if you're in the chat, you could be saying hello to Sharks right now. You missed your chance. Anyway, so I think G2 do eventually outscale. I think topside needs to play more defensively. I think they can look to play through bot. Whereas for SKT, I think they should heavily look to play through topside early on. And I think bot just needs to survive, and they'll be fine. Mid game, I think, is difficult for this team to execute. But we'll see. Let's jump into the game. Let's go. So the Orianna does have Unsealed Spellbook, so even though she's not running TP, the Orianna can run TP later on. Early ward from Jankos, swapping to Sweeper as he often does. You'll notice the effort is also running Sweeper right from the get-go. Nautilus hanging around topside in the event of a delayed invade. Cat's trying to get more information on where everyone is. So you can see early trades will go in favor of Caps, or they should anyway. So Rek'Sai doing a topside clear into bot, which is a little weird for a Rek'Sai, because you don't really need blue buff. But if you want to end up on your top side on the next respawn, I guess. Oh, early push actually at level... Wait, why did that happen? Does this normally go this way? Huh. I didn't know that. That's cool. Wait, is it just because he got the wave first? Oh, it's because they got to the wave first, that's why. Okay, that's why. Mickey loses half his HP. Oh, it's cool that Mickey's running minion dematerial. I want to just watch bot lane. Stop. This Rek'Sai path is quite interesting. I mean, he's effectively done the same path as Elise. And I mean, we talked about how Jankos wanted to play through bot lane. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, very well played gang. And the whole point of the Rek'Sai being here was that you could cover, but clearly they weren't expecting the lane gank. But that was well played by Jankos. I like that. Alright, let's go back and watch how Wonder killed himself. So we gotta start by looking at the early laning phase. Obviously he took some bad trades. Khan is at full HP. How the hell did he go through all of his... He has 3 corrupting potions stacks. And he went through them all. And he had a biscuit. So at level 1... Okay. Okay. Wait, what happened to the second proc of his Q? Did he fuck up? So here's the first proc. He went too early. Oh, yeah, that was pretty bad. Okay. He now has Conqueror. Okay. So Wonder's taking a lot of bad trades right now. Khan gets 2 first. Yep. Well, I understand where all of his corrupting bots went. I mean, I think he's forced to take E second because of Renekton all in, I guess. But I'm like, wouldn't this lane be way easier if you took W at level 1? I don't know. I don't play Camille, so I'm not an expert. I would have just thought that, like, against a Renekton, you would take W at level 1 and you would just play super safe. But maybe I'm wrong. So he's a level down. Oh, he stuns Khan way too early. He also then doesn't have the W. Yeah. His Q, I mean. Yep. Yeah, I don't think Wonder played those early levels super great. It was a fine trade level 1. So, the reason why I think it's a bad trade at level 1, Mr. Mickey X. So this, sure, he fucks up his Q and you're thinking this is fine. But the inherent problem is this. He has more sustain in lane because of his Q, which means that you're always trading down in HP. Look, he always gets health back, whereas Wonders only goes down and he's forced to use pots. So like, I don't know, I don't think it was a good trade. I think, like, maybe I'm wrong. It's not a fuck up on Q. Why not? Why is it not a fuck up on Q? What am I missing? Help me understand. His Q is an AA reset. Yeah, I understand. He just trades really fast? Okay, sure. I just assumed that he would want to get more damage out by waiting, you know? I'm just saying that he's using his second Q proc too soon, so he's not maximizing on his damage. But in any case, I don't want to focus too much on this top lane matchup. He doesn't have time for second Q. I mean, that's fine. Fine. Well, I will give him the benefit of the doubt. I will sit there and say that I'm just ignorant and that Wonder is not fucking up that level 1 trade. My bad. That's fine. I don't mind saying that. I mean, Wonder 100% knows this matchup way better than I do, so I'm not going to pretend like... I am curious as to why he doesn't take W first, though. I'd love to know. Because that's what I would have done, I think, in this matchup. But I also don't play Camille, so I don't know. To me, it just looks like that he's trying to take a lot of trades that he can't take. And if he had W, he would have had slightly more sustain. I mean, obviously he has grass for sustain, which I get, but... Yeah, and then of course he has a level disadvantage. I think he stuns too early, which obviously hurts. He loses his shield. And then his Q disappears. His flash was close, but not enough, unfortunately. I wonder if he'd flashed underneath his turret, it would have been fine. I wonder. I know W doesn't proc grass, but doesn't the W... Alright. Enemies hit by the outer half are slowed by 80%, decaying over 2 seconds. They take extra physical damage, and Camille heals for 100% of the bonus damage dealt to champions. That's what I'm talking about, the heal. That's what I mean. So, the grasp is for sustain, but the W also gives you sustain. And it's also decent poke. And Renekton doesn't take his E until level 3. I mean, he could take it at level 2. He could. And again, I don't know the Camille matchup. I'm not an expert on this. All I can say is, I would believe that taking W early would be better and safer for safer farm. You let the Renekton push, and then you primarily use the W to last hit. And if the Renekton trades on you, you have a little bit of sustain from the W as well. So that's the point I'm trying to get at. Alright, I was also going to talk about the flash. So, here, if he flashes this way, right, Khan stays under the tower for an extra shot. So here, Khan only takes 1 shot, but he also gets to walk out of tower range. Whereas if Khan E's this way, yes, he gets the kill, but I think Wonder also gets a kill, because unless Khan flashes. He could E and then flash. Yeah, he could E and flash. But I'm nitpicking now. Yeah. Maybe you get the flash out from Khan. Yeah. Anyway, we spent so much time talking about the top lane. Recap. Why is this important? What we said in the draft was G2 early want to play through bot. Okay? Wonder wants to survive. He did not survive. This is bad. SKT want to play through top. Now remember, for this guy, Mr. Clid, Senor Clid, he cleared his topside camps. Which means after he resets, he's going to path up towards top so that he can do his topside camps again. And he can look to kill Wonder with a wave that is now slowly pushing towards Khan. So Wonder, in this situation, is screwed. He's in an awful situation. And his jungler is not in a position to save him because he's bot side. He hasn't done his topside camps yet, which, I mean, he wants to eventually, but right now his priority is this. And by the time he gets there, he's not going to get there in time before Clid will. So Wonder is in a lot of trouble right now. I'm surprised these camps haven't been cleared though. This surprises me. Because like not clearing these camps is really bad. So the Elise resets? Oh, Clid doesn't actually reset. He actually just goes top. And Wonder's like, okay. Jungler could be topside. I mean, that's the best he can ward, really. He can't walk here and ward this. Oh, that's really unfortunate. I'm not sure if he wanted to E this, you would imagine, or if he thought that he could get closer before he could E this. I don't know. Either way, he misses his E. So now, the lane is actually over. And some would say the game is over. If I'm Wonder in this situation, and trust me, I've been Wonder in this situation, I'm like, hey guys, I'm not playing this game. Can I type in chat? Oh, I can't type. I'm not allowed to type. Oh, yeah, I am. That's what I'm typing. This is what I would call the Yamato special. So for those that don't know, Yamato and I duo queued for a little while. Earlier this year. It may have been last year. I don't know. Point is, Yamato and I did some duo queue. I was mid lane, he was top lane, and he played Gangplank, saying it's a safe top laner, I'll be fine. Enemy top laner picked Irelia. And I said, how is this matchup? And he said, this is one of the worst matchups for Gangplank ever. And I think it was the old Irelia, not the new one, right? So, he gets killed 3 times. And it's not just him. The jungler is diving him. He's playing as safe as possible, but he dies 3 times. Do you know what he does? He abandons top lane. He just leaves. He literally just goes, right? And he keeps going mid lane. And he's like, Vedi, I'm ganking mid. Here we go, man. We're going for the gank. Best Yamato voice you can think of. Here we go, Vedi. We're going mid lane. And he just ganks, and he ganks, and he ganks, and he ganks, and he ganks. And before you know it, he's got his Trinity Force. And top lane, he's like, I don't care about top lane. He's just grouping. He's like fighting. He's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And you forget about it. You just roam, because top lane's over. There's nothing you can do. And so what we have to track is how Wonder comes back into this game. Now, we are aware a part of it is Elise, but remember the Yamato cannon strategy. Remember that. It's going to be important later. So we talked about how Jankos wanted a reset before he could come top. Like, he's now obviously here, but Wonder's in a big doo-doo situation where he's kind of losing all of his farm. Mickey going for his staple, well-known level 3 roam. And now they're looking for a dive on mid. Very classic G2, very classic. Caps and Faker trading some health and mana. They're both going to look to reset. Bit of a freeze being set. Oh, I say freeze. He's just trying not to push the wave because his support isn't there. They looked for an opportunity, but there wasn't much. So he just disengaged. Notice the effort didn't roam. He just came straight back to bot. Wonder will have this wave pushing against him. Obviously sucks. But keep track of Jankos. Look at him. Kills off his Raptors, and now he's looking at top lane. They know that there's a ward in here. And now, this is the important thing. This is the important thing. Drake is up. Okay? Okay? Look at the camps. Look at the camps that are available. There's this camp. There's this camp. There's also a ward here. This ward helps a lot. Pardon me. What G2 can see is that SKT is making a play to either Drake or bot lane. It's one of these two things. The fact that the wave is in an awkward spot suggests that they're setting up for Drake, right? This man in the top lane cannot be here. He just can't. Like, look at the state of the wave. It's going to push. What is he doing? He's actually trolling. Look at this wave. Look at it. It's perfect for him. He actually doesn't have to do anything. He actually doesn't have to do anything. What is this? Why? Why is he doing this? What's the point? His team is here. He doesn't have one. I don't know. The wave is going to push to him. He just has to wait. And he's just not respecting the fact that his team isn't there and Jankos could very well be. So what happens? Jankos shows up, obviously. This cocoon, by the way, insane. Unbelievable. Summer Split MVP, by the way. And they get the kill onto Wonder. He gets a shutdown. The gold closes. Obviously, they trade this for Drake, which kind of sucks for G2 because they could have kept trying to play through bot lane. But Wonder's now back in the game. Wonder's now no longer irrelevant. MVP Jankos. What a hero. Bot lane is forced to back off because the risk of a dive is real because they respect weak side of the map. But that was horrendous from Khan in the early game. He had everything that he needed to carry this game. Troll. Anyway, let's get back into it. Look, the Yamato cannon. Here we go. Who cares about top lane? Look, look, look. This is the important thing. Wonder recognizes that this wave is eventually going to push. It will come here. He knows it will. He doesn't need to be here. What's he going to do? Just watch it? So why not roam? This right here is the Yamato cannon. This is just gank mid, you know? Like, who needs to be top lane? Why do I need to come back to a losing matchup? I'm just going to gank my buddy Vedi in the mid lane. So here he comes. Faker thinks he's safe. Boom! The Yamato! Slapped in the face by the Mebdi. And then Wonder goes back to top lane. He now has 2 kills. And what happens? Ho! The wave is there waiting for him. Not a problem. Not a problem. So that early advantage that Khan had built, now completely gone. He could also die here, but fortunately he has a jungler on this side of the map this time around. So MVP of Summer Split, Jankos coming up clutch this game. They haven't really been able to play through bot, which sucks for G2. They've kind of had to adapt their playstyle in the early game, but yeah, of the 3 early games, this has definitely been a better one from... This has been the best one from Jankos by far. He's now actually playing through topside, which I think is fine because Khan doesn't have flash. So if you can get another kill, why not? Khan this time around respects it, backs off. I think he put this ward down here. I can't check who it belongs to, though. You used to be able to, which was cool, but you can't right now. He actually has a level advantage. He should get 7 on this wave, though. Yep. Alright, where does he go now? Raptors into bot side? Oh, no. Ooh, Orianna actually clears them. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Orianna actually gets those camps. These deep wards are actually super good from SKT. So they make a roam play up because they have prio on bot. Roam warp collapse. Flash in. And they can't quite find the play. Cost Faker his flash. So SKT kind of struggling to find these picks in the early game. G2 get to keep scaling. They're content for now. So let's crack on. Let's move forward. So, we're hitting 10 minutes into the game. Let's take stock of the situation, right? Let's remember our win conditions. Let's keep thinking about these things, right? So, G2 wanted to have a safe top side of the map. They wanted to try and play through bot. They found a successful early kill bot. Unfortunately, because some disaster happened top lane, they didn't really... I don't think they wanted to play back through top lane, but they saw an opportunity. They saw Khan overextending. They knew that he wouldn't have his support, and they knew that they could punish. So, they're able to find something back. They then tried to play through Wonder a little bit more. He gets some kills. He's back in the game. Wonder now even with Khan. The best position to be in as you approach the 10 to 15 minute mark. Great situation for G2. For SKT, the bot lane has fortunately for them been able to find some advantages. Of course, the problem for Perks and Mickey is they've been forced to respect that their jungler has been playing topside, and Ryze has actually been able to gain prio over mid a couple of times, and he could threaten a dive in bot. So G2's bot lane, even though I think that they could be a little bit more aggressive in the laning phase, you have to be careful because you're playing against the Leona, but on top of that, you just don't have the support from your team. So the game state is very even, but for G2, that's fine, because they're pretty confident that their comp will eventually outscale, and they'll be able to win these 5v5s, and it's going to get harder for Khan and Klid to have an impact later on into the game. So at this point, I think G2 is quite content. I think SKT is a little frustrated because the advantage is topside, which is where they should be having a lead right now. They haven't been able to hold on to. So what are next steps? Well, Herald could be a next big point of contention. I think SKT probably don't want to fight. G2 could consider it, but I think both teams are a little skeptical of taking that gamble. Oh, we see it playing mid. I didn't realize this was going to happen. That's what happens here. So effort resets, roams up to mid. Mickey does the same. Oh, and they see that Caps resets, so Faker wants to push. And they go for a play knowing that he doesn't have flash. I think the idea of the play is pretty good. Does Jankos get stuck? What happens to Jankos here? Like, he just kind of stops. That was weird. Yeah, the problem is for G2, they didn't respect the fact that SKT had reset back out onto the map first. Yep. So he ends up going down. Like, I like the idea, but I think it was just a little over-eager. I don't like the Perks' mid, though. I think he was coming this way because he saw the fight was happening. Yeah, he was coming with, see if he could help. Yeah, Teddy got quite a lot of gold for that play. Yeah. So, like, that play actually meant a huge amount for SKT. Because that wasn't really a proactive play from them, but a big punish. Because obviously G2 tried to overforce a play. And then Teddy gets a bunch of gold bot side. Khan doesn't get a kill, but they do get a kill onto Faker, which is definitely good for him. And, wait, why is Khan now free to push in top lane? Oh, because he gets a good trade against Wonder at some point, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, here. So he has to reset. Because he could be dived. Renekton's ulti is pretty strong. They're pinging this. Yeah, because they know that they're behind. So they know they can't contest straight. They won't get there fast enough. So they trade. I think it makes sense. I like the play from SKT. They keep Prio over mid with the Kai'Sa. And then they rotate up. They can now use this on top tower if they want to. Yeah, and I think they should to try and get as many plates as possible. And what's cool is they'll put the plates onto Teddy, I think. Meanwhile, G2 is slow to trade on the bot side. And they can keep pushing and playing through top side. So you can see how the vision has shifted, but because of the Rift Heralds, SKT are way ahead of the play. So now you can see how, what's interesting is how SKT have converted that single fight into so much more map control. It's quite interesting, right? And it was all because G2 just tried to overforce when they actually didn't need to. They could have just kept farming. They didn't really need to take too many gambles. They just want to be patient. Yeah. They still keep the goal pretty even. Fake needs to be careful, but fortunately the rest of SKT is already pathing bot. Okay, so let's think next steps now. We're about 14 minutes in. What do both these teams want to do? Well, I'm not quite sure when the Drake spawns next. The last one spawned 11:54, so 16:54, so it's still about 3 minutes away. So that's likely not going to be an objective. Bot and mid tower are the obvious ones for SKT. And given that the Renekton is pushing in top, he could threaten a flank, and they can generate numbers mid. But I think the easier play is actually bot tower. Because what you do... I have the pen. I need the pen. So what you do is you use your numbers bot to gain control of a river. And then, because you're already here, you push in this. And then you force as 4 into enemy jungle to zone them out. And because you have the Renekton coming down, you can generate numbers advantage in the mid lane, which means that you constantly have a numbers advantage in this side of the map, while Wonder is still pushing out the top lane. Once Wonder obviously pushes out, he can look to trade top tower for bot, but this is still fine for SKT because they'll still be a tower up, which is the thing that matters. So I would say that that's probably the next best play for SKT. At least I think. So we can see they push in bot. They look to get a bit of vision in the enemy jungle. Okay, so they don't quite do what I want because they go for blue. And you can see how G2 now get to move into the river themselves. And Perks does have to play defensively. But they can't secure the... Okay, yeah. But this is why I had a problem with it. Because... So the whole principle works behind the fact that you can generate a numbers advantage because Wonder has to clear this wave up top. So if you don't use your numbers, G2 then have a numbers advantage. So the fact that they make this play means that you don't actually get to invade because you don't. So Clid respects it. Meanwhile, I'm sorry, I just find that really funny. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just think this is really funny because like I don't agree with this play. You can get the blue buff whenever. You don't need it now. You should be playing for this tower, which you can get for free. Because like look at the state of these waves. There's nothing that they can do about them. There's nothing that G2 can trade. So you can take this tower and you can disengage. And there's no Drake that they're going to take. They might trade this tower back in the bot side, but that's fine. You'll still be a tower up. Instead, you just cost your support your flash. At least you got blue buff though, am I right? But see, now they lose numbers. And now... I don't know. I don't know what SKT is doing here. I think they had an opportunity. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. So, my chat is saying that Faker has no mana, right? Okay, let me illustrate. He currently has... Okay, I can't see because the chat's in the way. He currently has 665 mana, okay? So, the thing is, Caps, I mean, he has blue buff. But, the basic principle, one person is here. Two people are here. One is here. One is here, right? They have 2, 2, and 1. So what SKT should do, in theory, is with 2 people, they push bot. With these 2, and this 1, they push mid and gain control over river, right? And G2 can't stop it because they only have 3, but at most 4. Now, SKT don't know where the Xayah is, of course, but so 4. They know where Wonder is. They know he's top. So you know that you guarantee numbers advantage, which means that G2 can't just walk in here for free. So the basic principle is you use your numbers to gain prio over here, you then move into the river, and then you zone. You're not looking for a fight, right? He can clear this wave without burning through 665 mana. The Renekton can also help. And then you just use your numbers to gain vision around here, and then you play for bot tower. And you can get it for free. So watch, he clears out that wave. He has more than enough mana to move with his team here. And then the Renekton moves into mid lane. And then they have guaranteed numbers advantage. They can clear out this vision. And they can give time for the Kai'Sa to get onto this tower and take it for free. But instead, because they divide, these guys can contest because you can now see the potential 4 that we were talking about is now against 3. And Clid recognizes this, so he disengages. And of course, Effort has to flash because he now doesn't have any support. So like the execution of this play was just poor from SKT. Like sure, you're right, he had no mana, but the point was not to fight. What's interesting is Wonder roamed down. But I guess that's because he saw Renekton was missing. But I'm not really sure why he's here. But that's what Wonder would have done. If they saw Renekton here grouped mid, Wonder would have kept pushing top. And they would have tried to trade top tower for bot tower. But because they don't see Renekton, he groups up with his team. But they assume that Faker's either reset or he's gone for his blue. Does that make sense? So now SKT, sorry, G2 obviously get the tower instead. Now this is interesting. How do they get away with this? So let's look at G2's vision for a second. So they see the Rise, they don't see Renekton. They see this duo. Now they see Renekton. So they know that. So, do you know the exact play that I was just talking about? This is it. This is it. Do you guys see? Do you see the idea behind it and like the pressure you can generate? Because Wanda stays in mid lane and Orianna can join should you need the number. But the point is that you can guarantee numbers advantage because you know where the Renekton is. They probably also know he doesn't have teleport, which means that they just get to force their way into the jungle because they will always have more people than SKT do. It's not about like sure, if you have 0 mana, then you can't generate pressure and technically you're 4v4, not 5v4. But like the whole point is you're not looking for a fight. You're just trying to, you're forcing them to recognize that they don't have any power here. And now they have information on where the Rise is, so they get the star for free. And then Camille's in a position to go and catch the top wave. So good punish there from G2. Okay, so the reset comes through now. Yankus is delaying his reset a bit, but maybe he doesn't need to. Probably doesn't. Well, there's nothing he can get if you're outside of vision. There's nothing. Okay, this probably isn't. This isn't great. But. Okay, Drake spawns soon, and he needs control wards, so they're all stocked up. Let's look at everyone's vision again. So Camille's pushing in top. Camille has TP. So does Khan. I think both teams are quite comfortable looking for a fight right now. But SKT have slightly better positioning because they have this wave pushed in bot. G2 obviously have prio over mid. They could choose to trade, but the moment they see Kai'Sa mid, now they can force their way in. Yeah, this is good force. But now they have to back off because they just used ult. They used flash. Something's going on top lane. Oh, this is the play that Endo was talking about with regards to vision. So I can show you guys on stream in case you didn't see it. It was on Reddit yesterday, but Endo made a great point. So basically, it all comes back down to numbers, right? It's all about who has pressure where, right? So the basic idea is, if you're pushing a wave, the enemy has to respond to the wave because it's golden experience that is being lost if you don't farm it, right? And ultimately, you want to maximize your gold and experience gain as much as possible throughout the game. So that you're always generating gold, so you're always getting stronger. If you're not getting gold, if you're just standing there not doing anything, then the other team is getting stronger while you're not, right? So that's why this creates points of pressure. So G2 want to respond to this wave, but they can't really, okay? Now, because they've sent one person bot lane, it means that they can't have as many people mid lane, which means G2 get priority over this lane. So SKT want to respond here, G2 want to respond here, right? Now, of course, because of the positioning of SKT being in the river, G2 can't, so they're just forced to lose this farm. However, SKT don't have to do that. They can respond to this farm, but the problem with doing that is they immediately showcase that they only have 3 people here. So G2 say, we should engage this then, because we know we have numbers advantage given that these two are not in our lane, right? So They tried to force this fight. They don't find the kills. So, now what we want to do is we just want to look at the vision from SKT. Okay? So, Khan recognizes that he's 1v1 top lane, so he wants to try and kill Wonder, considering he thinks that he's still stronger, given that he has Black Cleaver. They, however, SKT, think that G2 is still in this area of the map. Because why wouldn't they be? Because G2 recognize that they still have a numbers advantage in this situation. They don't have information on where Kai'Sa is, but the last time they saw her, she was in mid lane. Which means that she has to take the long way round, which means that G2 should still have control over this area. So SKT is still paranoid that they could be there. They're hesitant. They're cautious. They do not want to commit to this Drake because they don't know where G2 is. Meanwhile, Khan is committing to this play onto Wonder. It is a massive overextension, but he thinks he's fine. Because look, Perks is here. He's pushing in mid. They believe, because they don't have any vision here, that G2 is still here. So they're still hesitant. They're still hesitant. But then they're starting to get a little bit more suspicious. And when we switch over to the other side, you can see that G2 wasn't there at all. They were actually setting up for a collapse onto top lane, and they'd conceded that Drake a long time ago. Khan realizes too late, and he ends up losing his life. The power of pressure and vision, and what it can do. Ultimately, this was a net gain for SKT because of course they secure the Drake and they will secure the bot tower. However, the problem is that your side lane pressure is now falling even further behind. Wonder is level 12, he completes Ravenous Hydra, and everything is great for G2 in terms of their ability to play split push later on. But it's a good use of vision and pressure. But it's also just G2's ability to recognize, let's not overcommit and overforce for dumb plays like this. Why bother? We can get something else on the map. And they've done that throughout this series. I think it's... I think the best word for it is intuition. G2 are very good at reacting on the fly. They can look at the map state. Like, imagine that if you were in a game, you could just smash pause. Think of the host, Nico. You could just smash pause. And you could just have the moment that we have right now, you know? And G2's just like, oh, okay, well, the mid lane is kind of like this, and the bot wave is kind of like this, and okay, what do we think is the next best step? They're doing that, like, in the moment. They're constantly thinking, what can we do, what can we do, what can we do? And what I'm really fascinated by is, do G2 communicate all this, or do they just do it? Because imagine if they just do it without communicating. That would be cool, right? Anyway. So G2's next play is now for mid tower. It's a little hard to siege onto. Notice that SKT is starting to move into their side lanes more. They're sending Rise. Rise is now the person that kind of has to 1v1 Wonder because he has a level advantage. The Rod of Ages is completed. He has no armor, which could be a problem, but he has health, which is still valuable against Camille. But Renekton is now more so catching waves and grouping up with his team because he can't really 1v1 Wonder anymore, right? Game state is still pretty even, but again, G2 outscale. So one of the problems that SKT is going to face is they don't have a big enough gold difference to be able to outcome the draft advantage that G2 have. Which is that they will outscale. So G2 don't really need to force anything right now. They just have to wait. So Dragon spawns in 2 minutes. A lot of pings coming down around Baron. I'm surprised that they would consider forcing this right now. Looks like I think they just actually want to get vision. They will concede some prior mid because they took the long way around. But it's fine. They want to get this collapse. Put the farm on the Perks. And now they start it. Okay. So Camille is bot lane. Okay. Let's think about the situation that SKT is in right now. Okay? Because that's important. It's important to think about why SKT would want to do the Baron. Right? So, couple of key things. Seraph's has been completed for Faker. This is a big deal. Right? Teddy is very close to completing his Muramana. Also really important. Right? So, the SKT are about to hit some really big spikes on their carries, which is a big deal. So they're probably thinking that they're stronger than G2, which means that they can force Baron. Also remember they have double mountain. So with Kai'Sa and with Effort in theory tanking with Khan, they can just melt through this Baron. And Camille, if she TPs in team fights, they can still win, right? Because G2 is not at a point where they're like so far ahead that this is unbelievable, you know? The game is still even. They still have a gold advantage. And SKT is just hitting their spikes slightly earlier. Okay? So, they want to force this Baron. So they clear out mid without having mid prio, but it doesn't matter because they have full vision around this objective. Khan is going to rotate down, and he needs to help them either zone people away from the Baron, or he needs to help them tank it. Now the problem is, Effort is still very squishy. Look at the items that he has. Okay? He only has, well, with his W, he has a lot more tankiness, you know? But he and Clid cannot tank Baron for a long period of time. He misses his E, and Mickey's just like, well, I guess I'll just use the Baron to kill you for me. I'm surprised that Wonder TP'd in, but I guess he thought that this fight was going to be bigger than it was. And now they, because they get access through this half of the jungle, get to secure this tower. Yep, because Clid can't approach. So the idea, I can understand. Do I think it was executed well? Not even remotely. So now the dragon spawns. This is the next big objective. It's a clown. Keep funneling resources into perks. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. A bunch of shit is happening. Let's, because this was great for G2. This is absolutely amazing. Wonder's 2 levels up. Caps needs to reset. The whole team needs to reset. Wonder should be resetting right now. Why does he do this? So do you remember at the beginning of the game when we gave shit to Khan for overextending on weak side of the map? It's the same shit here. See all this? This is what G2 sees right now. They see a Renekton top lane. Oh, okay, you see a Renekton top lane. You see a Kai'Sa mid lane. And that's it. And you're here. Who's going to save Wonder? His mid lane is resetting. His jungler's literally not even pathing towards him. And his AD carry doesn't have teleport. I don't know, bro. I think he overextends. This forces Caps to use his TP to try and save him. Or like Caps is being a nice guy, I guess. But again, like this is just really, really risky because you don't know anything. You have no insight. Your whole team is on the top side. Great ultimate from Effort. Very good ulti. Caps doesn't get to do anything. Khan nearly dies because he also doesn't respect weak side of the map. God damn, Khan and weak side of the map. Oh, TP flank. Here we go. So of course G2 don't see this. Yank is like, ah! Oh, he loses vision. Oh! is what Faker sees. This is what Faker sees. Oh! Oh, it hurts. It hurts. Oh. Alright. So what does this mean for the map state? Well, Elise just gets forced back. The flash is used and the smite is used. They've just found a kill onto Wonder and to Caps. There's no reason why they should be contested at this Baron, so they do it. It's a good Baron. Nothing wrong with it. G2 just trade it for Cloud and push in mid. All stems from overextension bot lane. It's not a point and click. It's not his fault. He didn't miss it. He landed it, but he lost vision. That's not his fault. That's just really unfortunate. Like, you could see the animation started, and it cancelled the moment he lost vision. Because the animation... I'm going to show you. Okay. Look. He's literally pressing E right now. He's pressing E right now. This is his E animation. But because he loses vision, and because it's a skill shot, not a skill shot, a point and click, it loses the target. So it cancels. It cancels itself. It never actually goes off. And then, of course, he gets smited out of range. And again, he tries to use his E, but again, he can't use it. Because he loses vision again. Oh shit, he had a control ward in his inventory. Oh. That's unfortunate. Poor lad. I mean, like, if you really want to criticize him, he should have just flashed it. Here, he should have just flashed here, you know? Just kill him. Twice. Ah, unlucky. Okay, now they have Baron. Faker has 2 levels over Caps, right? They only have a 2k gold lead though, and the important thing to remember is G2's comp still scales really well. SKT can't actually 5v5 at this point. I know like Camille is a stronger split pusher, but there's so much wave clear on the side of G2. SKT have to be able to play on a side lane. I mean, which is what they're doing right now, you see. Right, let's go back to full vision. Wait. No, this ain't Effort's fault. Okay, I thought this was Effort's fault. This ain't Effort's fault. This guy, on the other hand. Alright, let's not point fingers. Let's not be rude. Red team's turret has been destroyed. Here's the play from SKT. Here's the play. Realm Warp, minions, underneath the tower. They will draw tower aggro. The 2 people of G2 defending the tower will be collapsed on by this lot. Klid will come in from underneath the wall. The ulti will land the stun onto Caps or Yankos. Khan will follow up. Ulti will come through from Teddy. He realm warps in. They find the kill. The idea is quite straightforward. The problem is the execution. Effort goes for a ward. Well, he ends up ordering the ward, which means he gets hit, and then he gets cocooned. So now, because that gets interrupted, the rest of the team no longer want to commit to the play. So Faker's no longer committing to the play. The ultimate goes wide as it hits the tower. And now they're stuck in this corridor because they thought that they were going for a dive. Effort then dies as Wonder kills him. Actually, Mickey kills him. So, who flashed here? Was it Caps? I think it was Caps. Caps wants to kill Khan, which is fine. Teddy now finds himself in a really awkward spot where he's by himself versus 4 members of G2. Right? Faker's nowhere near. Cleared gets a really good knockup on the Caps and they actually execute him. But like, you can also see how difficult it is for Teddy to play against someone like Wonder, who can, especially in the jungle, and how quickly they just obliterate him. And the feathers just tear through the Rek'Sai as well. Meanwhile, Faker's like, crap baskets. There's nothing he can do. Ultimately, the idea from SKT, I think, was quite good. I quite liked the idea, but the execution fell short. I mean, you can probably blame Effort, I guess. He used his ult super early. They tried to kill him wards. Meanwhile, we can just watch these two dance around. Yep. And the point, this comp isn't even online yet. Not yet. But that Baron, completely wasted. This was SKT's best situation to be able to find a win. And like, they just kind of throw it away by trying to force a play. But like again, I still think that G2's comp will eventually outscale them. So I think like trying to force that play, it felt like too hard of a force. And this tower still remains. Was Effort the big reason they lose this game? Well, maybe, but right now, no. Right now, I don't like. He's made a couple of mistakes, but I don't blame him. I feel like there were team decisions that were made that G2 were able to take advantage of. And we've seen quite a few this game where I've been like, I think you can definitely say that the team cohesion of SKT was not on point. Individual members were not respecting what the rest of their team wanted to do. That's what I think. So, what's the next play? Well, Baron spawns... It's 6 minutes, right? So it's 22:55, so it's 28:55. So in 2 minutes. And Drake should spawn a minute before. So Drake should be spawning soon. So Drake is probably the next play. Yeah? I mean, I'm cheating a little bit. So one of the problems Faker's going to find is that Wonder split pushes faster than he does. He might clear minions slightly faster because he's a mage, but he goes through towers slower. Especially against the Camille. So if they ever try to make this happen, like the split, Faker loses. So in an ideal world, you want Faker in the side of the map where the Camille is. But the problem for Faker is, I mean, I actually think right now he's definitely stronger in the 1v1. At least that's what it feels like to me. If I'm Faker, I'm thinking I can probably 1v1 Wonder. But maybe I'm wrong, because I've tried to 1v1 Camille's at level 16 many times before, and they've had... You don't need much on a Camille to be super strong. So maybe they want to avoid the 1v1. But either way, G2 want to play a 1-4 style right now. They want to keep this 4-man unit as grouped up as possible, and they want to have Wonder splitting in a side lane, and they want to get Vision to enable him to do that. So they should set up bot side Vision now, and they want to play through these 2 lanes, as we're seeing. Nice. Yeah. But this is what I was saying, like, they split push, like, To me, this just indicates that G2 know how to split push way better than SKT do, because this is 4 versus 5. And SKT recognize that they can't fight for this wave because there's 4 of them. Khan can't hold Wonder because he's too weak, which is why you need the Rise to match the Camille in the split push. Otherwise this happens, where Khan just has to sit and wait, and these have to sit and wait, so the 5 just get to control everything. Who cares if they lose that tower? They're trading up. I'm gonna move back to Drake. They should push in mid as well. Yeah. SKT can't contest this. Interesting that they don't reset though. Oh, they want to clear him first, that's fine. I mean, they're in a great advantage because 28.5 minutes into the game, they still have their frickin' mid tier 1. They will lose some of their top side jungle. Teddy is so strong, man. So strong. So is the Rise. But so is Perks now, which is a problem. So now Baron becomes the next point of contention, but I feel at this point in the game, G2 is stronger. Even though Faker is ahead in levels, the team fight power of this comp is just stronger. So as a 5, they can stay grouped and they can force their way into wherever they want. Of course, it helps that SKT were split up. So they force pressure mid, now they move towards Baron. But I don't think they should start it. They need to gain control of the top first. And now they've just lost power over mid. It's interesting how they're staying as a 5. Super interesting. Because they could have just sent one to top, but they're actually sending one to bot. So they're sending him to force SKT into a split map decision. And what the SKT will normally do is they'll just go, alright, we're going Baron. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, that was a great flash from Faker. That E misses. Oh no. That's a really good flash from Khan. I feel kind of bad for Cat. Oh wow, wow. But again, you're seeing how freaking hard it is for him to just dive in. Really good flash from Faker. He could have died there. Respect to Mickey. Just barely misses effort, but you get to... What is he? Oh, he's getting away from Khan, that's why. But look, every time he dives into the backline, Wonder's like, hello! It's happened in every single fight. Every time he dives in, Wonder now has an easy target to jump on top of. What did effort do in that final bit as well? God. What? So the best thing for Mickey here at this point is the fact that he's drawing the... He's like, alright, I'll focus these. I don't know what effort's doing. Meanwhile, Teddy's like, team? He just dies. Oh boy. Alright, that wasn't a great fight from effort. Oh, Cocoon misses. A lot of damage comes out from Faker though. A lot of damage. But he's never like hitting the targets that he needs to. And then Wonder misses his flash here. If he'd killed Faker, they could have probably ended the game. This is where Faker gets all these levels from. But you can see like how hard it is to teamfight against this comp. It's freaking hard. Like there's so much dive and they can't dive onto anything. I'm surprised that Caps managed to live in that fight. But I mean, SKT showcasing that they don't really know how to play through a side lane properly either. Right. So, let's do what we've continuously done. Think about what next steps are. Right. For G2, the blur... Baron's not going to be spawning for a long time. Dragon is going to be spawning soon. It's not going to be the Elder. It's going to be another Cloud. But that's probably the next objective that they want. They want to take this inhib. They want to try and play a 4-1. They don't care about this top lane, which means that they'll probably just group up in mids, but they don't have control of a bot. Ryze still has a Baron, so they probably still have to just wait out the Baron. And then they'll look to try and do what they've been doing and group up in mid and then push through bot. I mean, SKT, what I would try and do if I was them is I would try and get as many wards behind them, so like wards like this, and then I would look for a Khan flank. Because I think the only way you win... I don't know. I think it's really hard to kill all the damage. I guess the only way you win is this guy. He like pops off in a fight, I guess. So they actually just group up in mids. Wow, they just run it down. They don't care about the side lane. Wow. That's fucking good awareness. I did not see that. I genuinely didn't think that they would literally just run it down mid. They recognize where Khan is. They recognize where Faker is. I guess the mistake Faker makes is he goes for another wave. And this guy's on freaking Grom. So G2 can just run it down mid. But like, this is what I respect G2 for. They're like, we don't care about this. We'll lose it. We don't care. Inhib is way more important. And then Effort just dies. Holy... How is that damage fair? What is that damage? God. What? That hit? Look at that! What is that? Oh, nice sidestep there from Perks. Alright, but look at this Q from Mickey. What? What? Wait a minute. Alright, watch Mickey, watch Mickey, watch Mickey. I suppose that does hit, but I mean, just... So in my opinion, that's a miss. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying, but then like, watch. So like, in my opinion, that is missed. Okay. And that... I understand that that's a hit. I understand how the hitbox works, right? I recognize how that works. It's just the fact that the hook just teleports. Oh man, that's funny. So they... Does Caps flash in? No. Khan flashes in. Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, we'll focus on this part of the fight first, and then we'll get to this part of the fight. So this shockwave nearly kills Faker, but he gets a really clutch stopwatch off. But of course now Perks has free reign to just kill him. So he just melts through him, right? And then of course Perks can just kill him as well. Did Rek'Sai even ult? Yeah, I think he did. Anyway. This is where... So you know we kept saying in the cast, like, G2 out-team for SKT? I mean, they did. But watch Khan here. Watch Khan. Watch Khan, watch Khan, watch Khan, watch Khan, watch Khan. So look at Perks, right? See him? Clid wants to flash knock him up. When he knocks up, he actually hits the Elise. But you can see that he's aiming for perks. The smite is coming down. Like, this is the focus. But he actually only gets pushed back because the person who gets knocked up is the Elise. So he's then here. But Khan is not going on this target. He's going over here. Now, admittedly, there are 3 damage dealers that you have to deal with, right? I recognize this. But I am very surprised that they would prioritize killing caps over perks. But like this tiny execution error, tiny, because he over flashes, means that perks gets to live. And of course, like, sure, this is fine, but like Teddy's now killing caps. Like, both mid laners are dying, right? So initially at the beginning of the fight, you think this is fine. But the problem is, obviously, G2 have a numbers advantage. Wonder helps kill the mid laner. Mickey obviously dies alongside these two as well. But ultimately, the decider of this fight is perks. Khan does what he can, but the fact that the AD carry lived... Like, think of how different this fight ends up being if he dies instead. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Orianna is the person you have to focus, but in my opinion, the moment that shockwave is gone, this champion is irrelevant. But obviously he doesn't know that, right? Like, he's flashing in just as the shockwaves comes down. So maybe I'm being super critical. I don't know. Yeah, you can again see how difficult it is for SKT to win these fights. And Moon, I think it's just tunnel vision. I mean, yeah, maybe. But like, I also think, like, when you have 3 damage dealers in Wonder, Caps, and Perks, Wonder's probably the one you're least focused on killing early on. And making the decision between killing Caps and killing Perks is the hardest decision. And what you saw was that G2 were all pretty committed to killing this guy. Because, in my opinion, he was the bigger threat. But how do you decide who the bigger threat is between caps and perks? I think it's a really hard decision to make, so I do think that maybe I'm being too critical of Khan. But I think it's super difficult. I guess I just think that perks was the bigger threat this late into the game. I would rather always kill an AD carry than a mage. Yep. I think of the 3 games that we've watched so far, this one was the worst from SKT. I think, like, they found an early game advantage in the lane that they wanted to find it in, and then they threw it away. Because Khan didn't understand how to play weak side of the map. But I do think that SKT also found a really good punish when G2 tried to overforce in mid lane. I think G2, there were many things they could have done better in this game. But this was also their cleanest game of the series. I think Mickey has by far and away been the best player of the series. I know Perks has a nice scoreline, but Mickey's actually been like the MVP. I definitely would now say I would give it to Mickey. I think Jankos also had a fantastic game this time around. This game specifically. The Rylai's is a little weird thinking about it. I wonder what he built Rylai's for. Health, I guess? Making it easier to land his cocoon, maybe. Start with Q and then you E afterwards, maybe. But yeah, I definitely think G2 had some really cool team fights. They definitely punished the mistakes. We saw some like poor plays from Effort the later the game went on. I do think that like early on, like for most of this game, Effort was fine. But then there was that one bad fight in mid, and then the Baron fight happened, and then the end he just got one shot, and like it wasn't a good time. But yeah, alright, that's going to do it for game number 4. These have been some long VOD reviews. 3, sorry, that was game number 3. We're jumping into 4. Make sure you head over to the other video on my YouTube. I'll see you in a bit. If I can... Goodbye.